Hello and welcome to Last Stand for Liberty. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about Gary Johnson and making the case for Gary Johnson and why you should vote for him. In case you're unaware, Gary Johnson is the Libertarian Presidential Candidate for the 2012 election. So a few things about Gary Johnson. One, he wants us to pack up and get out of Afghanistan. As a Marine veteran, that's important to me. I want to see my brothers come home. I don't want to stay there and nation build. The mission ended once Osama bin Laden was killed, ironically in Pakistan. But now it's time to pack up and get the hell out of there. I don't want to lose one more American life in that country because it's unnecessary at this point. And the American military was never intended to nation build. That's not what I was trained to do in the Marine Corps Infantry. I was trained to kill people. And that's what we specialized in doing. Aside from that, he wants to reevaluate getting all of these troops deployed abroad. He wants to reevaluate that if it's even necessary, and I welcome that. I think this is interventionist foreign policy makes us less safe. I wouldn't accept the idea of China having bases in my country, and I wouldn't expect any other country, sovereign nation, to want the United States to have a military presence there. So I think it makes us less safe, and I think that history has proven that. Let Benghazi be a perfect example of that. One of the other things that Gary Johnson has said is that he wants due process for all of the people in Gitmo. What we've done in Guantanamo Bay is absolutely against the Constitution. It's a violation of habeas corpus, and it's just a violation of human rights. And what I want to do is I want to try those people, and if we can't convict them in a court of law, then we need to release those people. To indefinitely detain people without, any legal charges it's immoral, it's illegal, and it's not what this country was meant to be, and I'd like to see a return to the Constitution. One of the other things that Gary Johnson has said is he said he'd like to repeal the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is very dangerous, an intrusion on our liberties. It's really just peeling the onion back of our civil liberties and destroying them one layer at a time. And I'd definitely like to see that repealed. And again, that's something that President Obama renewed. Okay, so President Bush signed the original one, President Obama renewed it, and Mitt Romney is for it, and Gary Johnson's against it. Okay, so that makes a good case right there for Gary Johnson. One of the other things that Gary Johnson gets a lot of attention for is ending the war on drugs. You hear a lot of people go, "Oh, well, all the libertarians want to do is just they want to make pot legal." Well, it's not that we just want to make drugs legal, even though that's the end result. It's that chasing people around for things that they put into their body and putting them in jails is immoral. It doesn't make sense, and it ends up costing us a lot of money. I mean, we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars on this war on drugs, and it's been an abject failure. It's easier to get drugs on the street right now than it was when the war began, when President Richard Nixon started this war on drugs. And all it's done is it's been a boondoggle for us to spend a lot of money to support the prison industrial complex. I want to end this. I want to see prohibition, for example, didn't work. I mean, that was clear. Al Capone, it gave rise to all these gangsters. I live in Southern California. I see what the drug war has done to Mexico. I used to go down there and surf. I used to go down there to bars. I used to go down there to vacation. I used to go down there and have a lot of fun. You can't go there anymore because essentially the country's in a civil war because of America's drug habit. We need to end this war on drugs. We have something like 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's prison population. These numbers are drastically out of whack. We're putting too many people in prison. And to be honest with you, what this really impacts is poor minorities. There are two justice systems in this country. I don't care what anyone says. And poor people get screwed over. And poor minorities, they definitely get screwed over. And they've been more of a victim of this drug war than anyone else. So these laws don't make sense. You can't legislate morality, and the war on drugs has done nothing to stop the illegal flow of drugs. It's time we just be honest with ourselves and recognize that it's an abject failure. It's cost us a lot of money, and we're imprisoning far too many people for nonviolent offenses and things that shouldn't be crimes to begin with. One of the other things that Gary Johnson wants to do, he wants to abolish the IRS. He wants to cut taxes. He wants to drastically reduce spending. And, you know, this is the reality, America. We have spent money like there is no tomorrow. And at some point, there's a day of reckoning coming for our economy. We've printed all kinds of money. We've diluted the value of the dollar. Over the past 100 years, the value of the dollar has went down by over 95%. You can't continue to do this. And at some point, we have to cut spending. And I think to increase, you know, to improve the economy, at some point you're going to have to cut taxes. Canada just set a 15% corporate tax rate. Canada, of all places, set a 15% corporate tax rate. We're running somewhere around 25, and a lot of times effectively higher. You know, these things are not conducive to creating a strong and powerful and robust economy. So Gary Johnson wants to get us back to that. Now, on an issue of technology, Gary Johnson wants to have a return to net neutrality. You know, where we're not favoring internet service providers, and we don't create these laws to dictate how the internet runs, right? What we want to do is we want to have the internet be a free market. So that's a little bit about Gary Johnson. That's a few reasons why you should vote for him. Hey, do us a favor. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Go and like the Facebook page. Get involved. You know, talk to your neighbors, talk to your family, and show them our page, show them our materials, show them our videos. Let's make a change, and let's make a real change in this country, and let's take the country back.